From Reading, Pennsylvania, TV 51 Sports presents MAC football as this afternoon the Devils of FDU Florham take on the Albright College Lions. And once again, Mother Nature will play a factor here in Reading as it is raining here at Shirk Stadium for Homecoming 2005. Good afternoon and welcome. Steve Degler along with Bob McCool. And Bob, even though Albright has lost the last 2 weeks, the Lions come in at 4-2 and still have hopes of making a postseason run here in 2005.
And that's really what it's all about right now for Albright. They have talked about this since the beginning of the season. Their goal has been to figure out a way to get an 11th game, and they're hoping to get in the playoffs somehow, some way. If you take a look at the MAC standings right now, Albright is kind of going to follow suit from what they did all season long, and that's come from behind. Those back-to-back losses to Wider and Delaware Valley have put them in a bit of a hole, but they still feel as if they can win out, they can figure out a way at 8-2 to either get a Division III playoff bid or, in worst-case scenario, get an ECAC playoff bid. But their goal has been to get an 11th game, and they're hoping that playoff game could be right back here at Shirk Stadium.
FDU Florham has really struggled offensively this year, scoring just 15 touchdowns on the season. But the quarterback for the Devils, Dan Huff, is a guy who gives head coaches nightmares.
Yeah, don't believe so much in terms of what the record could do, because coaches will figure out a way to get nervous over almost anybody or any team, and Dan Huff is the kind of guy who can make coaches nervous because they really don't know what he might do next. He can run, he can throw, and he can throw off the run. He's a very dangerous kind of guy, and you're going to see a lot of unusual plays and a lot of unusual formations, and that's what has Albright's coaching staff concerned going into this game.
For the Lions, quarterback John Port has received many accolades, and rightfully so. He set so many records here for Albright, but in the passing game, the quarterback is only half the equation. He has had a lot of great wide receivers, including an All-American last year, Nick Cushman. The next great receiver might be on the field today in sophomore Stephen Acey.
And if you ask John Port, he'll tell you that the next great receiver very well should be Stephen Acey. He's got a lot of versatility because he's got good speed, probably the best speed of all the receivers on the team for Albright. But in addition to that, at 6'2" and 195 pounds, he's got the size that he can break tackles in addition to going deep. Right now, Brian Hout is the slot guy, the slant pass guy, the possession receiver for Albright. But Stephen Acey at 195 pounds right now is the guy that they'll look to go to deep, but look to eventually turn that around when Hout graduates after this season's over with. Stephen Acey more likely will assume that role. Take a slant pass 5 yards and 195 pounds, break a couple tackles from a defensive back, and turn it into a big gain.
The Lions have lost 2 in a row, but they've won 3 straight against FDU Florham. We're back with a kickoff from Shirk Stadium in just a moment. Back at Shirk Stadium on the campus of Albright College in Reading. Rainy afternoon for Homecoming 2005, 52 degrees, and the second straight time that we're here, we want the rain to go away as quickly as possible. It is going to be on and off throughout the afternoon, but when it is coming down today, it is coming down very hard. There is Rich Mosca, who is the head coach at FDU Florham. He is in his 4th season, a record of 8-28 for the Devils. He has not beaten Albright, 0-3 against the Lions. E.J. Sandusky is in his 9th season as the head coach at Albright. His career mark 47-41 as the Lions try and get back on the winning track here this afternoon. Albright is going to kick things off to start the football game today. Tom Fitzpatrick, number 99, a senior from Glenside, Pennsylvania, will tee it up. Fitzpatrick handles the kickoff and long field goal duties for Albright. Phil Sylvester is the deep man for FDU Florham. Sylvester, a transfer from John Jay in New York City. He is a 5'10 junior. He is one of the deep men. Also back is Billy D. Williams, who is the dangerous return man, leading the MAC in return yardage, number 10, and that is number 8, Joey Wilson, averaging 17 yards, a kick return. Lions in red moving from left to right in the first quarter, and we are underway at Shirk Stadium. Fitzpatrick kicks it to Billy D. Williams, who mishandles at his own 8-yard line. Williams will not get across the 20 as the Lions, with excellent play on special teams. Alex Loro, a 5'10 senior, makes the tackle. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Devils at their own 18-yard line. As we talked about in our open, Dan Huff, the quarterback, a very dangerous offensive weapon. Huff has thrown for 874 yards on the season, and he has 7 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. And oh, by the way, he's rushed for over 360 yards as well.
He's got 12 touchdowns on the year, 7 throwing and 5 running. So he can do a little bit of everything. And he has cut down on his interceptions from a year ago.
And Florham has only scored 15 touchdowns the whole season. He has been a part of 12 of them. He'll work out of the shotgun on first down, and as soon as it breaks down, he will take off, and he does so right here and has yardage close to a first down, and that is the danger for E.J. Sandusky. If the coverage breaks down, he will take off, and he has Harrison and Campbell in the backfield. Smija and Felicetta are the receivers. Stephen H. is the tight end. Archer, Pugh, Zorro, Shin, and Palladino, the front 5 for FDU Florham. It is a gain of 10 and a first down for Harrison on the for Huff on the scramble. They'll work the backs out of the eye this time. Smija is in motion, and it's Harrison, the tailback, who gets the carry. Butler in on the tackle for Albright along with Josh Benson. Pretty good pickup on first down, though. 5 yards. It'll be second down and 5. Here is the Albright defense. Weiser, Chicamaro, Schmidinger, and Gill in the front. Sadiq has had a great season at linebacker along with Minotti and John Pond. Butler, Christ, Benson, and Johnson in the secondary in that 4-3 for Albright. There's a look at Minotti, the middle linebacker for the Lions. Ball loose on the turf on the snap.
Huff came away from the snap without the football. It was on the ground for a moment. It looks like FDU falls on it. One of the big offensive linemen falling on it. Left guard DeWin Pugh falling on the football. There you see, he just comes away and the football slipped out of his hands. That's not, I mean, you talk, it's obviously between the center and quarterback exchange, but that one's on Huff because he just came away and lost the handle on the football, and then the scrum underneath, and big DeWin Pugh at 6'3", 300 pounds falls on top of the football.
Well, like Albright, Florham will go with a lot of no huddle. Third down and 5 for the Devils. Huff again looks to scramble, fakes the throw, and he is going to pick up the first down with second effort. There is the danger of Huff. He faked that throw, holding the defense just a split second more, and then John Pond missed a tackle on top of it.
They got great penetration initially by Albright, as we'll see this play from behind Huff. And from the sides, there's Weiser, 48, and from the other side comes Matt Gill, 47. They flush him out of the pocket, but that's when Huff's at his best. He pump fakes, that freezes Pond momentarily, and ultimately the lunge is what gets Dan Huff the first down out close to the 39-yard line.
Needed 5, got 6, as Pond never put that left arm around the ball carrier and could not wrap him up.
But again, the danger of Dan Huff is what does it. He fake pumps the football, and Pond instinctively thinks, okay, he's going to throw the football, I got to stop. But he ends up just hits intentional one for the change.
They'll give it to Harrison on first down. He'll get a yard to the 40-yard line. Ryan Lenahan, correction for Albright, number 54, Mike Chicamaro in on the stop. The sophomore from Cheltenham High School. They'll give him 2 on the play. It's second down and 8.
Going up against a guy like Dan Huff, it's not exactly Michael Vick kind of danger in terms of raw speed, but it's craftiness. He's very clever with the football, and he has that ability to run and throw, and it's just going to make you freeze. You're never sure exactly what he's going to do. He knows what he's got up his sleeve, but you have no idea what he's going to do.
On second down and 8, they go the toss sweep to Harrison. Harrison has the 45-yard line. Minotti with the tackle. It's going to bring up third down and about 2.5 for the Devils.
He's got his fullback Campbell out in front of him, but we've talked about Huff throwing the football and running with the football. How about blocking as well? He's going to throw a block that helps spring the sweep the other way. But Campbell, number 30, is out in front, the fullback, and he gets the block that really seals it before Minotti can come from behind and block it. But not before Harrison takes it across the 45 to the 46-yard line.
Third down and short, 3 to go for the Devils. One receiver split out in this formation. And again, Huff in a no huddle, but taking all kinds of time. He'll give it to Harrison. Harrison lunging, looks like he is going to be very close to the first down as Josh Johnson makes the tackle. And if he is shy, is it 4-down territory 3.5 minutes into the game?
And this is that wounded animal scenario that we were alluding to in the pregame. This is the kind of spot that if it is fourth and short, that FDU very well could go for it, but it's not going to matter. Harrison did lunge enough to pick up the first down. So a good opening series for the Devils as they pick up their third first down.
Harrison out of Trenton, New Jersey. Good second effort to get to the 49-yard line and move the sticks. Florham still in its own territory. Opening drive here at Shirk Stadium. Both these teams have struggled mightily in the first quarter this year.
Looks like Huff is changing things up at the line of scrimmage, barking out signals to his offensive line and his receivers.
Pond showing blitz for the Lions. It's picked up. Huff dumps it short for Campbell. Incomplete. It'll be 2nd down and 10 at the Devils' 49-yard line. Minotti with coverage on the play.
Wasn't going to be a big gain, but it would have been enough to get it into Albright territory, but that's just a bad pass that time from Huff. He threw it behind his intended target, Campbell. Campbell did catch a touchdown pass last week for FDU in their loss to Moravia.
Huff is not the most accurate guy, completing only 50% of his passes this season.
But the big difference is he's completing a lot more to his own teammates. He had trouble with interceptions a year ago in his first year as a starter, but he's cut that down considerably from last year.
Out of the shotgun, they give to Harrison in a gaping hole right up the middle. He'll have a 1st down into Albright territory at the 38-yard line. A pickup of 13 on the play.
Good call that time by the offense for FDU. It's really just a matter of a delayed handoff. Albright's thinking pass. Instead, they go with a delayed handoff. Good blocking up front. And the guys in the middle for FDU that open up that hole, that's where the biggest beef comes from. Zarro is the center at 290. Pugh and Shin, the 2 guards, at 300 and 305. So the beef for the Devils is in the middle, and that's where they look to run. Harrison running behind a big hole behind that beef up front.
Good start for Harrison, who as a freshman rushed for 250 yards. He's well over that this year. Now Huff throwing quickly as they are really moving the football here on this opening drive. Dan Kopp with his 11th catch of the season. And right now this offense not looking like one that has struggled throughout 2005.
No, and he's starting to find some different guys to get involved in the offense. And he will throw to a lot of different receivers. The last couple of games, he's had 7 or 8 different players he's thrown to at some point in time as he finally hooks up with one of his wideouts. Dan Kopp gets his 11th reception of the season inside the 30 down to about the 28-yard line. Another 1st down pickup for the Devils.
Gain of 10, and Kopp one of 14 Devils to catch a pass this season. Again, the Lions showing some blitz. They'll back off as Harrison back in there gets the carry. Albright's defense able to respond this time. Brian Weiser, the sophomore from Reading Central Catholic, makes the stop. A gain of 2. It's 2nd down and 8.
Much better job that time by Albright of sealing things off. They went back to that delayed handoff up the middle, but you see Minotti and company clogging things up. There's Weiser, 48, doing a good job of stuffing the run in the middle, along with Dave Schmittinger, the freshman defensive tackle. Much better job at the point of attack that time by the interior Albright Lion defense.
Nearly 6 minutes in, FDU Florham has had the ball the entire time. Drive starting at its own 18-yard line. Huff with a straight drop back. Again, looking to run. Nobody open downfield, and he is just going to throw this one away under heavy pressure. Good decision by Huff as Minotti was closing in along with Schmittinger, and it'll be 3rd down and 8.
He really only had one intended target in that particular play, and he was well covered by Josh Johnson. So Huff looking for somebody to come open. Nobody's there, and there are 4 red jerseys who are about to come into your picture, led by Schmittinger and Minotti, flushing him out of the pocket, and Huff alertly just throws it out of bounds where nobody can pick it off and live to see another day on 3rd and 8.
Devils converting just 34% of their 3rd down opportunities this year, which is the same percentage that Albright's defense has allowed thus far. Again, Pond showing blitz. Huff rolls away from the pressure, and he is going to keep it. Huff inside the 20-yard line. He is going to be a yard shy, and now a flag well after the play as Pond and Pugh mixing it up after the tackle was made.
We'll have to wait and see if this is going to be a personal foul penalty on one or on both, and of course, if so, that'll offset the play. As we take a look at our officials for today's game, Kerry Ripley will give us the call. We're going to say it's a holding instead against the Devils.
This is a big call for the Lions. It would have been 4th and about a yard, but now Kerry Ripley's crew will walk off 10 against the Devils, making it 3rd down and long. Talked about the first quarter struggles this year for these two teams, and neither has scored a whole lot.
Holding, number 75 of the offense, 10-yard penalty. Repeat
10-yard penalty. Ball back at the 36-yard line. It's going to be 3rd down and long for the Devils. FDU Florham has been outscored 40-19 in the first quarter. Albright's been outscored by the opposition 45-13, and all 13 of those points came last week at Delaware Valley.
This is the kind of scenario you want to put Dan Huff and the Devils in. 3rd down and 18 now is a much more difficult scenario, and one that should take the scramble out of the picture.
Pond again with pressure, misses a tackle. Huff throwing downfield, 3 receivers, and the ball just literally lands among the 3 in white jerseys, and it'll be 4th down and 18 for the Devils.
It's not a good scenario when you have 3 receivers all within 10 yards of one another, because everybody gets a little bit leery as to who the intended target is, and Huff just kind of picked a spot in the middle to try to throw the football and hoping that somebody would make a catch, and everybody kind of froze right around here. Everybody just kind of freezes for a second as he overthrows the 2 short guys and underthrows the deep guy. And fortunately for Albright, the drive, it looked like, was going to stop. But this is what we're talking about with FDU. With a 1-5 team, they're in a situation on 4th and 18. They're going to go for it.
Twin receivers to the right, and now it's going to be a quick kick by Huff, and he is going to get this one down inside the 10-yard line where Robert Felicetta will fall on it. So they show shotgun, end up kicking out of it, and they have pinned Albright deep for its first possession of the game.
So we talked about Huff the runner, Huff the thrower, and now we have to make mention of Huff the kicker as well. He is listed as their backup punter, and on that particular play, he just kind of shows a little bit of a quick kick and just trying to back up Albright, and he does exactly that, backing up John Port and company deep in their own territory.
And the senior having another phenomenal season, 16 touchdowns, 101 in his career. He has thrown for nearly 1,800 yards. He'll work out of the shotgun on 1st down, and out and up, and there is AC hauling into the 25-yard line. He'll be pushed out of bounds right near midfield. Great throw by Port from the 9-yard line, and it goes for 41 to AC.
Well, we mentioned in the pregame that AC's the guy that has the speed to go deep. That's his role on this team right now, and Port hits him right in stride, out and up, and he's got a step or 2 on the deep defender, and an easy hookup from John Port to Stephen Acey. Big pickup from their own 9-yard line, out just shy of midfield. Actually, they're going to mark him right on the midfield stripe, a 41-yard hookup.
1st and 10 for the Lions. Port will give it to Vinny Andrews. Andrews takes it into Florham territory as he gets 5 to the 45-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 5.
Appreciate John Port, Stephen Acey paying attention to our pregame show and hooking up right away and showing you exactly what we talked about with their ability to go deep.
Andrews, the lone setback, helped, and AC joined Andy Cerise as receivers. Jeff Beach, the tight end. Holscher, Laco, Wilgucki, Morrissey, and Nebel across the front for Albright. Here is Andrews again, and this time he will lose a yard back to the 46-yard line as Michael Lotwich makes the tackle. It'll be 3rd down and 6. The defense for FDU Florham has had a tough go this year. In fact, giving up 84 points the last 2 games. They go with the 4-3. The guy that E.J. Sandusky concerned about among the linebackers is Shane Hayes, the leading tackler. In the secondary, it's Billy D. Williams. They'll try to stay away from him as much as possible.
On Sacco making an outstanding tackle on Andrews, pinning him a yard deep on that last play.
Port throwing short, and it is intercepted by Lotwich at the 41-yard line. 5th interception thrown by John Port. He was looking for AC right at the 1st down sticks, and Lotwich takes it away for his 3rd pick of the year.
Great physical play by Lotwich here to just wrestle it away. Just timing it, stepping in, and wrestling it away from AC. That's just a good physical play by the cornerback Lotwich, getting his 2nd interception in back-to-back games. He had one last week against Moravian, comes up with one here, and that's a good individual effort, good timing, and not afraid of some physical play as well. And Lotwich just wins the battle and taking it away from Stephen Acey.
So John Port on that first toss, the 41-yarder, moving into 3rd all-time in Division III passing history, over 11,500 yards, throws the interception here. FDU Florham, with the rain coming down very heavy again, will take over. Keep it inside, and again, the ground attack has been very good in the early going. They'll pick up 7 more on 1st down.
It's 35 yards unofficially for Dan Harrison. Throw that in with the scrambling ability of Dan Huff, and it's been a pretty effective running game so far for the Devil.
Didn't we just live this 2 weeks ago here against Widener?
Well, no, it actually stopped so far today. It never stopped against Widener.
Just flat out poured for 4 quarters. Felicetta in motion. A couple of fakes, and Huff will keep it himself, trying to get to the outside, and Albright able to string that play out. James Rowland, who has really been improving throughout the season, makes a nice hit driving the quarterback out of bounds.
And Rowland is playing at a different position today. Number 11 was a backup middle linebacker behind Pete Minotti, but in an attempt to just get him on the field more often, they switched him up to a defensive end, and he will be in that 8-man rotation up front, in the front 4 for the Lions, and he did a great job that time of flushing him out. He's a linebacker by instinct. He was a linebacker in high school at Strathaven, and obviously has played a lot of linebacker here at Albright College, and he got in the backfield in a hurry, and he forced Huff to the sidelines and used the sidelines as an extra tackler, forcing him out of bounds at about the 47-yard line.
Loss of a yard. It'll be 3rd down and 4, and one of the reasons Rowland had to be moved is that Jeremy Matazzo, who played very well early in the season, is out right now with a knee injury. So the Lions needing some help along the defensive line, and they call on Rowland.
And they also called on Michael Bowles, moving him from the tight end spot. The 6'4", 267-pound junior will also be in the defensive tackle rotation up front.
5:52 to play in the first quarter, no score. Referee Kerry Ripley coming over to talk briefly with Albright head coach E.J. Sandusky. I'm not sure if perhaps there is a problem with the clock, which does show that 5 minutes and 52 seconds to play. Second possession for the Devils. They were forced to punt after a pretty impressive opening drive. And then Albright, starting at its own 9, went for 41 yards on the first play, but Lotwich with the interception, getting the ball back for FDU Florham.
And this is what the defense for E.J. Sandusky has to think about right now. When you see Dan Huff rolling out, just like James Rowland did on that particular play, if he pump fakes it, don't go for it. Let the guys behind you worry about the throw. Don't go for that pump fake and just keep running at him. He's going to try to pump fake to try to freeze you and try to buy that extra yard. Rowland didn't fall for the pump fake and just kept on with the pursuit and eventually ran him out of bounds, and it ended up being a 1-yard loss.
32 seconds added to the clock. 6:24 to play now in the first quarter, and Florham will change up personnel here.
Doing it on the fly. Guys coming off the sidelines and right onto the field without a huddle.
Huff has 5 receivers in the set. Doesn't mean he'll throw, though, and he won't. Rowland again gets to him shy of the first down. It'll be 4th down and 2.
The defensive ends for the Lions are getting great penetration and really pinning him in on that particular play. Rowland chased him, and Gill, 47, pins him in. Huff wants to throw from the beginning. He's not thinking, it looks like a pass formation, but he's thinking about running. Schmittinger also in there, 51, to help make sure he doesn't go up the middle. But a good job by Rowland from the outside, Gill from the inside, and then Schmittinger pinning him in and making sure Huff had no room to run.
Michael Rabaska averaging 34 yards a kick, sending it Naoki Kurimoto's way, and he'll let it bounce, and Albright will have much better field position here as Florham will down the ball just inside the 30-yard line. 5 minutes and 40 seconds to play, no score in the first quarter. We're back to Shirk Stadium in just a moment. 5:40 to play in the first quarter. No score at Shirk Stadium. FDU Florham and the Albright College Lions on homecoming 2005 here in Reading. Before this drive gets started, Albright has been whistled for an illegal procedure penalty. So it's going to be 1st and 15 for the Lions at their own 24-yard line.
Right now, Albright's just got to kind of stand back and take a breath. I think the first possession, they're going into this game, they're going up against a team that's ranked last in the MAC in terms of points given up. Almost 38 points a game is what the Devil defense gives up. And when you're an offense that's as explosive as Albright, you're thinking about, hey, how many points can we put up before this game is over with if we have a good game? And then they come out and they throw the first pass. It's a 41-yard hookup from John Port to Stephen Acey, and they're thinking, oh, man, here we go. We're on a roll. And then all of a sudden the interception changes everything a little bit. They just got to kind of take a step back, relax a little bit, and let the game unfold in front of them. Don't force the action.
Empty backfield for Port on first down. He will throw for his running back, Andrews, who makes the catch at the 30-yard line and is able to hold on as John Sacco, the sophomore from Chatham, New Jersey, tried to wrestle it away.
John Port with another completion, this one of about a 5 or 6 yard hookup to Vinnie Andrews, and now you see that John Port continues to move up the charts. 11,554, make it 559 right now after that last completion. 3rd leading passer in Division III history.
On 2nd down and 8, they will give it to Drew Schiller, who gets his first carry, and he'll lose a yard back at the 30, make it 3rd down and 9 for the Lions. Albright will use 3 backs behind Port. Andrews, Schiller, and Raymond Keschel will get some time as well. It's Andrews in there next to Port out of the shotgun on 3rd and 9.
I can't anymore. I don't want to hear you.
Port throwing, and he's intercepted again. Second of the game. Derek Gregory has this one for the Devils, and they will have excellent field position inside the Albright 35-yard line.
That's just, yeah, got to hang that one on John Port. He threw that one into double coverage. Gregory was just kind of lurking around back there playing short, and I guess John Port just never saw him coming. He tries to throw over an oncoming, but there's Gregory to step right in front of his intended target. He was double covered, and Gregory stepped right in front of it. Second pick and 4 attempts for John Port. And this time the Devils are knocking on the door inside the Lion 35 at the 33-yard line.
Port, who had 4 interceptions in the first 6 games, has been picked off twice today in 10.5 minutes. 2 Albright turnovers here in the opening quarter. 1st and 10 Devils, empty backfield at their own 33-yard line. Huff will again just simply roll out. It's a designed quarterback sweep out of the empty backfield. Minotti will make the tackle at the 25-yard line, but not before a pickup of 8, making it 2nd down and 2.
That's just Huff. Design rollout, as Steve said, and a foot race to the sideline is really what it comes down to. And Minotti finally able to track him down, but not before Huff takes it inside the 30, down close to the 25-yard line. Bring up 2nd down and about 2, maybe 3 to go.
Just over 4 minutes to play in this first quarter, no score. Outside of that 41-yard pass play for Albright, the Devils have carried the play in the opening 15 minutes. Backs out of the eye this time. It is Harrison, who's had a good first quarter, steps through the Minotti tackle and will have a 1st down at the 21-yard line. John Pond eventually makes the stop for Albright.
6 first downs so far for the Devils, 5 of them now coming on the ground as Harrison picks it up. Stepping through the tackle by Minotti. Good blocking. His fullback Campbell leading the way, but Minotti got through, but couldn't wrap him up. John Pond, number 7, eventually grabbing him by the ankle, but not before Harrison had already picked up the 1st down at the 21-yard line.
Harrison, 353 yards on the season coming into today. 2nd leading rusher for the Devils. And he'll get another chance here. Trying off the right side, gaping hole, and he will somersault his way inside the 10 to the 6-yard line. A gain of 15, and it'll be 1st and goal for the Devils.
Well, it seems like every play is a different look from this Devil offense. This time we got two running backs side by side out of the shotgun, and they just hand it off to Harrison. And there we go, leading the way. Out in front is 65 Chris Archer, the freshman left tackle, and he springs Harrison in the backfield. There's the blocking out in front, with Pugh also leading the way, and Harrison is 5 yards into the secondary before contact is made inside the 10, and it's 1st and goal to go at about the 6-yard line.
Great job by Archer, the transfer from Siena out of Yonkers, New York, and here the Albright defense able to make the play on number 35, Phil Sylvester, junior from Brooklyn, New York, getting his 1st carry. He'll pick up a yard to the 5. It's 2nd down and goal.
Josh Johnson in on the tackle along with Mohamed Sadiq for the Lions, doing a much better job that time keying on Harrison. You're focused so much as a defender on what Huff is going to do with the football and whether or not he's going to run with it that sometimes you forget about zeroing in on his counterpart back there in Harrison. But that time they wrapped up Harrison immediately. He got maybe a half a yard, and that's about it.
He has Smija split out to the right on 2nd down and goal. Looking that way, instead, Huff will keep the football, and he is going to get very minimal yardage. Mike Bowles mentioned move from tight end to defensive line in there on the goal line situation. In on the stop, no gain. It's 3rd and goal at the 5.
I think Huff wants to throw the football to Smija, but Smija's pretty well covered. And Huff doesn't have a lot of patience inside. He's thinking, all right, he's covered, I'm going to run. That's what he's thinking all the time. If the receiver is just momentarily covered, he's going to run with the football. But Albright that time did a much better job of sealing him in, and Bowles and Gill wrapping him up. He gets maybe to the 5, and that's it. 3rd and goal. This could be a big defensive stand right now for the Lions.
A minute and a half to play in the first quarter. FDU Florham trying to get on the board first. A toss sweep to Harrison. Pond gets to him first. Minotti able to get there as well. And it is going to be 4th down and goal just inside the 3-yard line.
great pursuit by the defense of the Lions. That guy, Steve Butler, is in on so many tackles. The strong safety comes in, and he's the third guy in on the pile. But it's Pond first. Here comes Pond, number 7, slowing him down. Gets help from Minotti coming in. Right there comes Minotti. And then there's Butler and Johnson there to help out and making sure Harrison doesn't turn the corner and get the score.
Mike Rabaska in to attempt a 20-yard field goal. He's 6 for 8 this season after going 4 for 16 his first 3 years. And Rabaska stays hot as his 20-yard field goal with 48.5 seconds left in the first quarter gives FDU Florham a 3-0 lead. We're back with a kickoff in just a moment. Kickoff by Jonathan Cesario, and Albright will have the return starting at the 22-yard line from Ray Keschel, and Keschel takes it across the 40 to the 41, a 19-yard return. 3-0 FDU Florham in front with just over 40 seconds left in the first quarter. And now John Port comes out already throwing 2 interceptions. Last year, Albright won this matchup 35-21, rolling up 533 yards of offense, and Port threw for 464. 7 plays, 31 yards after the interception, and Rabaska with a 20-yard field goal to get the Devils on the board.
And those numbers that Port put up a year ago against FDU, that's actually a school record for FDU of yards given up by a quarterback. Right now, Port's got to kind of be like a relief pitcher and forget about what happened after you give up the home run ball and come back out the next day. This time, you got to come back, forget what happened in the first 2 series and just come back out and say, all right, now we're down 3-0. We got to get to work.
What a block here by 59, Matt Niebel, peeling back here, giving Port some extra time after taking out Tom Capra and a short completion to Andrews. A pickup of 2 to the 43-yard line. There it is again. Niebel just laying out the defender.
Lineman called a pancake block because you flatten the guy, and that's exactly what Niebel did.
Port throws behind his intended receiver, Keith Allen, right at midfield. It'll be 3rd down and 8.
Port's first pass was right on the number in that long bomb to AC. But other than that, he's thrown 2 to the defense, and he's thrown a couple behind his targets. So John Port has just got to get it together right now and not rush things behind center. Right now, not a whole lot of penetration coming from the Devil defense.
3rd down and 8 for Port. Again, plenty of time. Throws over the middle. This one is complete to his senior, Brian Haupt, who's playing with a bad knee. And Haupt slowly gets up, but he has a 1st down at the FDU 43-yard line.
But a 14-yard hookup, and they pick up the 1st down. This time, Port was patient, and watch Haupt. He's in the middle. He's coming across, finding a spot in the defense, sit down beyond the chains, and wait for John Port to deliver the goods before Billy D. Williams can come up and make the tackle. But it's long after the Lions have picked up the 1st down.
42nd catch for the senior from Lehigh. And here is Andrews stumbling on 1st down inside the 35 to the 34. He'll pick up 9 on the play. And this is a great down now. 2nd down and 1 as we hit the end of the first quarter at Shirk Stadium. What will A.J. Sandusky do in this situation to start period number 2? It is 3-0. FDU Florham leading at the break. We'll be back with the second quarter right after this. Albright College, 3-0 FDU Florham after 1 period of play. It is homecoming 2005 here at Albright. And how about some Lions trivia for you this afternoon? Some tough ones, too. Our first question today is, what was the first fraternity to be organized at Albright? Give you the answer in a little bit. I think, Bob, maybe you were a charter member. Is that correct?
Well, you know, we'll all have a legacy.
Starting the 150th anniversary celebration for Albright. And some
Speaking of legacy,
party souls. Yeah, absolutely. 2nd down and 1, and Albright will keep it on the ground with Vinny Andrews, and he'll pick up 5 to the Devils' 29-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for Albright, trying to go on top for the first time today.
The Lions right now being a little bit more patient on offense and waiting and seeing what the defense gives them on 2nd down and short. You don't want to go for all the marbles. They just decide to pick up the first down, move the chains, and work it down the field. Right now inside the 30 after the pickup by Andrews.
And they'll give it back to Andrews on first down. Breaks a tackle and sidesteps his way for 5 more to the 24. It's 2nd down and 5.
And it's always, you always have to remember this. You got to keep the defense honest, because when you come into the game against Albright, you're thinking about that guy. You're thinking about John Port. He's going to throw the ball every play, but he doesn't. He's not going to throw the ball every play. You can't throw the ball every play. You got to keep that defense honest and remind them that, hey, if you want to worry about our passing game, we'll run it too if we have to, and Andrews picks up 5.
And now it's Schiller out of the tailback spot into the secondary, and he'll set up a 1st and goal for the Lions at the 9-yard line. A pickup of 15 for Drew Schiller, the sophomore from Monsignor Bonner High School.
And Chris Stoop, number 23 for FDU, just gets a hold of his shoe top right about there, and that slows him down enough that Billy D. Williams can knock him off balance. If he doesn't get a hold of that shoe top, Schiller might have enough power to break through that tackle, but because he was off balance, because Stoop got a hold of his shoe, it knocked him off stride enough to bring him down.
Port on 1st and goal, throws for Allen, who dives into the end zone for a touchdown. Keith Allen with his first collegiate touchdown. The freshman from Audubon Park, New Jersey, a 9-yard catch, and the Lions are in front.
And that's what you do. You run once in a while, and it keeps the defense honest enough that then all of a sudden they're thinking about your running game. And you go right back to that quick hitter, this time Port firing the football to Keith Allen for the touchdown.
Kicking game was a problem last week for Albright. Dustin Kaplan missed an extra point and a 23-yard field goal in the 1-point loss against Delaware Valley, but Kaplan able to knock this one through. 14-10 to play in the 2nd quarter. Albright now in front, leading FDU Florham 7-3. .50 seconds into the 2nd quarter, Albright now in front, leading FDU Florham by a score of 7-3. And it'll be Tom Fitzpatrick kicking off for Albright. Williams and Wilson will be back deep for the Devils. Fitzpatrick, number 99. Lines this one down the left sideline, and it is going to go out of bounds. It's the 5th time in 37 kickoffs this year that Fitzpatrick has not kept it in the field of play. Let's go back to the touchdown, a 9-yarder, Port to Allen along the right sideline.
He looks left, he then looks right. He's got Allen in his sights all along, but he's just looking left initially to get the defense off stride, but its intended target is Allen, and Allen breaks a tackle, leans in for the score.
We asked you what was the first fraternity to be organized here at Albright, and the answer is Kappa Upsilon Phi. I've been working on my Greek all week in anticipation of this. And the sesquicentennial celebration of Albright beginning. It's 150 years, Bob, in case you're wondering. It's a long time.
Yeah, I'm more worried about that sesquicentennial.
Here is Huff throwing for a first down. Throwing right-handed while rolling to his left. That is not an easy play to make, and Mike Smija hauls in his 12th catch of the season. It'll be a first down at the Albright 46-yard line if this flag does not go against FDU Florham.
And it is going to go against the Devils. As you see Huff delivering the goods, it would have been an 11-yard pickup, but you can wipe that one off the books. I believe it's going to be a holding penalty called against Florham.
It looked like Kerry Ripley signaled ineligible receiver downfield, which Rich Mosca, the head coach of the Devils, is not happy with right now.
It's possible to believe an ineligible receiver get downfield that quickly.
Ineligible receiver downfield.
So instead of a first down at the Albright 46-yard line, it'll be first down and 15 back at the 30. A lot of smiling faces around the Albright campus today, and not because it's homecoming and not necessarily because it's the start of the 150th anniversary celebration, but Albright getting a nice gift yesterday from the Shumo family.
The face list of this college just gets better and better by the day. Not only we have this brand new beautiful stadium here at Shirk Stadium, now an endowment that will improve the entire facility here surrounding Shirk Stadium and the Bowman Center.
$4.75 million to build a fitness and wellness center, adding on to the Bowman Center, which is where the basketball arena is here, and the pool at Albright. It'll be a 2-story facility. Part of it up and running as early as next year. And Shumo's living in the Albright neighborhood, and that is quite a gift. The biggest in Albright history, $4.75 million. Huff on 1st and 15, looking for a receiver, dancing around, and he is going to lose a couple of yards back to the 28-yard line, as the coverage downfield gets a lot of the credit, even though Weiser eventually the one to make the hit.
And we've talked about Dan Huff sometimes thinking run, then pass. But this time he's thinking pass. He's thinking pass, thinking pass. He's still thinking about passing the football, but it's just the coverage downfield is too good, and eventually the Lions swarm him under. There is Weiser, number 48, to wrap him up and finally bring him down back inside the 30 at about the 28-yard line.
First sack for Weiser, loss of 2. It's 2nd down and 17. 2 minutes into the second quarter. Again, a no-huddle look, but they take a lot of time getting the play off. Play clock down to 3 when the snap comes. Huff looking deep down the left sideline. The ball is underthrown, and it is intercepted. The Lions get a turnover as Matt Christ, the sophomore from Birdsboro, Pennsylvania, right here in Berks County, gets his first interception.
Well, that is a case of Huff just throwing that football up for grabs, and he was under pressure. Mohamed Sadiq is coming from the outside. Huff is very well aware of that, and he just throws this ball up for grabs. And double coverage downfield, and Weiser steps in front of it. You had your choice of interceptions, and actually, Matt Christ intercepted it from Josh Benson, because Benson could have had that interception as well. But Christ took it away, and he'll get the one-handed catch. It has to be a one-handed catch with that cast on his right hand.
They'll be talking about that in their defensive meetings. Here is Keschel getting the carry on 1st down, slips through a crease into FDU Forum territory and dragged down from behind at the 45-yard line by John Sacco. That's the speed guy out of the backfield, and he showed it right there.
Yep, he's the changeup. That's what we call him, the changeup, because he's the guy that's going to break through that line of scrimmage so much quicker than Andrews and Schiller will do. And he gets in the backfield so quickly, and that time literally squirts through a tackle that gets him into Forum territory down at the double 45-yard line.
18 yards for the sophomore from New Tripoli, Pennsylvania. Here is AC as they swing it out quickly. A flag is thrown on the play as AC takes it inside the 40. Flag coming in late after the pass had been completed. And it's going to be holding against Albright.
There's Stephen Acey. We talked about him in the pregame, that at 6'2", 195 pounds, he's the kind of guy who can break tackles. And that was the design behind that play. Just a little flanker screen, get the ball in the hands of Acey and hope that he can break a couple of tackles and maybe get you a 1st down or more. But unfortunately for the Lions, the holding penalty is going to wipe this out.
Lions being whistled for an average of 9 penalties a game.
And that has been a problem
Holding
throughout
on the offense, number 84.
Your problem a week ago.
10 yards,
Lost to Delaware
repeat
Valley.
2nd down.
This will be 10 yards marked off against the Lions, back to their own 46-yard line. So officially it's a 1-yard gain on the pass play to AC, and they mark off 10 yards from the spot. So it's a 1st down and 19. Not something you see every day in football. 1st and 19. Port dumping it out to Keschel. Keschel loses the football, and then it's kicked away from the Lions, and it looks like FDU Forum is going to recover. Boy, Albright had a chance to pick up that football.
Brian Hout tried to pick it up and run with it, and he kicked it instead. And that's a cardinal sin on the football field. You make sure you have it before you run with it, and Hout should have probably just fallen on that football. And right now, I believe Keschel's shaken up a little bit. Port kind of hung this one a little bit, and Keschel gets whacked just as he makes the catch. Good open field tackle. Right now, the ball's on the ground. There comes Hout trying to scoop it up and run with it, and he kicked it in the process. Left it on the field, and eventually FDU is able to fall on the football, and the Devils are going to come away with it at the bottom of that pile.
Chris Stoop made the hit, and then Billy D. Williams coming out of the pile with the football. We've got a Lion down. We'll take a break. 12 minutes, 8 seconds to play first half. Albright leads it 7-3. 12:08 to play first half. Albright with 3 turnovers. And now it's a 1st and 10 for FDU Forum at the Lions' 39-yard line. Harrison with the carry on 1st down. Minotti in on the stop. Hit first though, by Matt Gill. No gain in the play. It's second down and 10.
Excuse me, Steve. Matt Gill has been very, very active today from his left defensive end spot. He won't get credit for the tackle. As Steve said, Minotti will make the tackle, but it was Gill who hit him, and he hit Harrison before he got to the line of scrimmage. Minotti ends up making a tackle behind the line of scrimmage, but Gill hit him about 2 yards in the backfield.
Second down and 10 for the Devils, who are down by 4. Albright now with 12 turnovers this year, 3 of them today. They're -2 in the turnover category. Lions showing blitz, and flags thrown as the ball is snapped. Looked like Albright was really loading up there to go after Huff. Steve Butler, the linebacker, was on his way. It is a procedure penalty against the Devils. It'll be second down and 15.
And I think that threat is what obviously caused that penalty, and I think Huff was trying to change things up at the line of scrimmage because he saw that blitz coming and trying to change things
on the
up.
offense, number 66, repeat second down.
Ultimately, somebody got a little jumpy, and that's going to cost FDU 5 yards.
And I said Butler, the linebacker, actually the strong safety, had moved up right behind the line of scrimmage, showing blitz. Second and 15 at the Albright 44, 11:15 to play in the first half. Backs in a very tight I formation this time, Campbell and Harrison. Huff with Sadiq putting the pressure on, throwing incomplete. He had Dan Kopp open. Kopp could not hang on, and now a flag is thrown in an area where it is usually roughing the passer.
That's exactly what I'm going to assume that's what it's at, and Huff gets up wobbling a little bit as he comes to the sideline to get the next play. But I believe this one is going to be a roughing the passer against the Lions. There's your personal foul.
Roughing the passer on the defense.
It's going to cost them 15 yards and give FDU a first down. Here we'll see it as Sadiq is there in his face, and I believe actually it comes after that. I don't think it was Sadiq. It was the second man in and coming into the face. Here we'll see it's going to be Matt Gill and Sadiq actually both giving him a good shot after he throws the football. And FDU could not hold on to the football. Kopp dropped the football, but it's going to give the Devils a first down on the 15-yard personal foul penalty against Albright.
At the 29-yard line, and the Lions' first half woes this year in every facet of the game have been well documented, and unfortunately for E.J. Sandusky, they're continuing here this afternoon.
Now it's penalties as much as anything.
Huff quickly has the pocket collapse. Mike Bowles in there, basketball player, joined by Pete Minotti and a host of Lions for another sack, a loss of 5 at second down and 15.
Well, we talked about Mike Bowles, and he has moved from the offensive side of the football to the defensive side. He's number 88, right in the middle of your picture, and he's just going to use a power rush to kind of swarm things under. He wanted to play on the offensive side, and that's why they put him up as a tight end, but he is better suited as a defensive tackle, and he's going to come to the sidelines right now, but he's so big and strong in the middle, and he can make things happen up front.
Did he just clear a path there for Minotti? It looked like he was blocking for Minotti. Here is Huff on second down, looking to throw again. He'll keep the football, makes one move, makes another move, and Huff inside the 5, diving for a touchdown, 34 yards on a tremendous scramble by quarterback Dan Huff.
You talk about a second effort. How about third, fourth, and fifth efforts by Dan Huff? It looked like he was going to be pinned after about a 5 or 6 yard pickup, but sheer desire gets him into the end zone.
So back in front are the Devils with 10:10 to play in the first half. Michael Rabaska in to attempt the extra point. David Nemeth is the holder. Great effort by Huff, but Lions missed some tackles.
Absolutely.
And they've done that a lot with that slippery quarterback here in the first half. Extra point is up, and it is good. 10 minutes and 10 seconds to play in the first half. Dan Huff, the quarterback with the great scrambling ability, spinning out of trouble and heading into the end zone, 34 yards out. FDU Florham back in front, 10-7. 10-7 Devils, 10-10 to play in the first half. Raymond Keschel getting ready to receive the kick for Albright. Teeing it up is Jonathan Cesario for FDU Florham. And it's Naoki Kuramoto on the return for Albright across the 30 to the 33-yard line. That is where the Lions will have it 1st and 10 after an unbelievable individual effort by quarterback Dan Huff.
Here we see Huff. He's looking. He wants to throw. He wants to throw. He realizes, okay, I can't make it happen. There it looks like he's going to get wrapped up. Spins off a tackle, breaks another arm tackle there, and then it becomes a foot race. And just a great job by Huff and some lousy tackling, to be honest with you, by Albright. There's one arm tackle that is missed. There's another arm tackle that is missed, and then it becomes a foot race, and Huff beats Butler on the dive to the corner of the end zone.
34 yards for the junior from Sayreville, New Jersey, who has had a tremendous first half. Play action, Port throwing over the middle for Houghton. He gets pasted by Derek Gregory and cannot hang on. And right now, and we've talked about this in our first 2 telecasts here at Shirk Stadium, the opposition coming into this new facility with much more bounce to their step than the Lions have brought.
And that's nothing more than just good open field tackling on that particular occasion that jars it loose. How lucky that that was not a fumble. They say he never had possession of it. But again, the pass a little bit behind him. And John Port has got to come a little bit more composed right now and not try to win this football game all at once.
2 yards for Keschel to the 35-yard line. Tom Capra makes the tackle. It'll be 3rd down and 8. I mean, it was noticeable here in the Widener game how juiced up the Pioneers were right from the outset. And Albright, for a long time, did not come close to matching that intensity. And you saw the hit there on Houghton. Boy, the whole defense was excited about that play.
And if you're Florham right now, you're thinking this can make your season. You're 1-5 coming into this, and if you can knock off Albright, that makes your season, and that's the way they're playing this game.
Here's Port under control, and this time he will get a 1st down to midfield as he pretended to scramble, then found his freshman Michael Hepler from Newtown, Pennsylvania, and he picks up 15 yards and a 1st down.
And Hepler becoming a more important part of the offense. Got his first catch last week. It was a touchdown pass in the loss to Delaware Valley. This time just a big 1st down pickup, wide open as Port scrambles out of some trouble, and Hepler is wide open for the 1st down hookup.
Port really got Sacco to bite in that scramble, and then found Hepler. And now Keschel on 1st down, bouncing it to the outside. He is going to be close to another 1st down for the Lions at the FDU Florham 40-yard line.
Keschel kind of runs like the Tasmanian devil. Everything's in motion as he's trying to turn the corner. Feet are going, knees are going, arms and elbows are flying all over the place as he's trying to get those little legs running around the corner, but he has the speed to turn the corner and make people miss. And right now, Rich Mosca, the head coach for the Devils, has got to be a little bit concerned as the Lions continue to move the chains.
Gain of 10 for Keschel. 1st down. He'll get another chance here. Sidestepping a tackle, trying to bounce it to the outside again. And Taz is inside the 35 to the 34.
He looks like he's running the tire drill. Those legs are pumping so hard trying to make things happen, and he makes people miss him. Watch his feet and his legs as he's running. Going right, nope, nothing there. Going left, going up the middle, nope, nothing there. Now I'm going to go back left, bounce off of one guy. Let's keep it going. Now lean to the right and get another couple of yards. All that for 6 yards.
2nd down for the Lions. 8.5 minutes to play in the 1st half. Keschel again sweeping right. Flag on the play. Keschel knocked out of bounds at the 31-yard line, a yard shy of a 1st down. This one will probably come back.
He's got his tight end Beach out in front and his fullback Schiller out in front as well, trying to get a block to turn the corner, and apparently did not get the block, but got a hold in there somewhere. And this one's going to march the Lions backwards. They go forward, they go backward.
This has very much been the story in the opening 30 minutes of a lot of games for Albright. Fortunately for the Lions, they have been able to come back several times this year. But this is going to be holding against Albright.
Holding. Number 89 of the offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
It's going to be the 4th penalty for the Lions. It's going to be a holding penalty. We'll see if we can pick it up as Keschel's trying to turn the corner, waiting for somebody to get the block. There's Beach, there's Schiller, and there comes the flag. It was on one of those 2 guys who got whistled for grabbing a little bit of jersey, and it cost the Lions 10 yards. Back to about the 45-yard line, actually the 44.
It was Beach who got the call. Now offside was FDU Florham. Port back to throw, loses the football. It's free, and the Devils have it, but it should not matter. It should be offsides against FDU Florham. Michael McGowan made the recovery at midfield, but maybe the Lions are going to catch a big break right here and avoid their 4th turnover.
You got to hope that this one is against the Devils for jumping off sides. Based on the reaction of the coaching staff, you assume it is.
Okay. There were a couple guys that were across the line of scrimmage. The question was, were they drawn off? And E.J. Sandusky finally gets to take the hood down. It stopped raining.
Temporarily. I'm going to guess the guy that jumped offside was Yusuf Hindi, number 91. There it is. It was 91 because he got an earful from Rich Mosca when he came to the sideline. And obviously it cost the Devils the football because the defensive lineman McGowan, who got through, actually hit Port's arm and knocked the football loose and then fell on it.
2nd down and 9 for Port. Throws for Haupt, who cannot hang on. And it'll be 3rd down and 9. Haupt's not close to being 100%. Banged up left knee, but he is upset with himself for not hauling that one in.
And that's because he took an eye off the football and made the cardinal mistake of a wide receiver and looked at the defensive back coming in to make the hit. The defensive back coming in was 23 Chris Stoop, and Haupt just peeked out of the corner of his eye and saw him coming, and just that momentarily lapse of concentration cost him the completion.
Twin receivers each way on 3rd down and 9. Great protection again for Port, throwing over the middle and nearly intercepted again as he was looking for Haupt on a crossing route, and Cameron Barker, the linebacker, got a hand on it. It's 4th and 9 for the Lions.
Plenty of time for Port, but ultimately he just gives up a little bit on this play and tries to force the action. Look at the coverage. He is triple teamed, is Haupt. And the middle linebacker, the freshman Cameron Barker, number 58, got his hands on it. Unfortunately, he's a middle linebacker, doesn't have great hands, so all he could do was tip it up in the air, and it becomes an incomplete pass instead of John Port's 3rd interception. There you see the numbers for John Port.
Seth Kaplan punting it away. Lotwich is back deep for FDU. Florham Butler trying to keep the ball in the field of play, and it looks like he may have succeeded at the 1-yard line. That is a great play by Steve Butler, the senior from Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, and the Devils will be pinned deep when we come back. 7:56 to play in the 2nd quarter. Well, during the break, the referees had a chance to talk things over, and they have ruled that Steve Butler was not able to keep that punt in the field of play. It is ruled a touchback, and as a result, FDU Florham gains quite a bit of territory, 19 yards to the 20-yard line. There's a look at it, very close along the goal line.
Just trying to walk the tightrope, and apparently must have stepped on the, if any part of your shoe, it's kind of like being a receiver, if any part of your foot actually touches the end line, then it's a touchback, and apparently that's what happened. And the Devils saved themselves about 19.5 yards, and they'll start at the 20 instead.
And they get a good pickup on 1st down as, again, Daniel Harrison with a lot of misdirection picks up 8 to the 28. It's 2nd down and 2. Just looks like Albright has had a tough time picking up the ball carrier this afternoon, and that's credit for the FDU Florham offense.
Harrison now with 12 carries for 67 yards after that 8-yard pickup.
Huff to work out of the shotgun. Same play, gives it to Harrison. This time Albright able to react, and Harrison maybe back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd down and short.
There was movement at the line of scrimmage, but I think the Lions may have gotten away with one, because if the Lions get whistled for jumping off sides, it gives the Devils a 1st down. Instead, they just get a great start. Watch the right side of the defensive, right side of your picture. You see the movement at the line of scrimmage, but they got back, and then that great penetration gets them inside. It's Rowland, number 11, who initially gets the penetration, and then they just push everything backwards. Robert Mello, number 91, also in there at the defensive tackle spot to help get the penetration and trap Harrison in the backfield. There's a good look at Rowland, as we said, moving from backup middle linebacker to defensive end, and he's had a big game so far.
Devils barely get the play off, and throwing over the middle, pass interference will be the calls. Albright getting there early. The pass was intended for number 3, Robert Felicetta, who was a quarterback at one time at Siena, now a wide receiver for the Devils, and another Albright mistake will give FDU Florham an automatic 1st down.
Josh Johnson is the cornerback in coverage, and he got his left hand in there to break it up. But the key is going to be where his right hand is when the official throws that penalty flag, and I think that's what's ultimately going to cost them the 1st down, as it will give them on the penalty another 1st down hookup, or 1st down pickup for the Devils.
1st down. Pass interference on the defense, number 39. Started foul. 1st down.
Inside 15 yards in college football, when it's pass interference, it's a spot foul, and here it is, and that right arm draped over the shoulders of Felicetta And that is what resulted in the flag.
Again, he gets the left arm in to break it up, but its right arm is draped over his outside shoulder. And that's where the pass interference penalty costs the Lions and gives the Devils another first down out to the 41-yard line.
Felicetta reacted immediately looking for the flag. Albright, in addition to 3 turnovers, with 5 penalties here in the first half. They go right back to Harrison on first down. Harrison will pick up a couple to the 43. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Stop on the play made by Kyle Herndon, senior from Chatsworth, New Jersey.
Yet another in that 8-man rotation up front for the Lions. Schmittinger also in there. The defensive tackle number 51 gets help for the tackle. There's 51 Schmittinger, but it's Herndon who originally gets inside and wrapping him up and bringing him down after a 2-yard pickup.
Lion defense has been on the field quite a bit here in the first half. 2nd down and 8 for Huff. Huff with good protection for the time being. It breaks down, and Herndon again in on the hit across the 45. It'll be 3rd down and about 6.5 for the Devils.
Herndon ends up on the tackle, but it's Schmittinger, number 51, who slows him down. Watch Schmittinger right in the middle of your picture, 51, trying to fight off the block. Huff takes off, and Schmittinger comes up and slows him down. He runs into his own man, and eventually Herndon and Sadiq come up to make the tackle. But it was Schmittinger who made him get off course, if you will, and slowing down Dan Huff, and eventually the pursuit wraps him up at about the 46-yard line.
3rd and a long 6 with just over 5 minutes left in the first half. They give it to Harrison. Harrison stacked up and hit hard shy of midfield. It'll be 4th and about 3, and we'll see what the Devils do here with a 3-point lead late in the first half.
They're gonna send the punting unit out, try to back up John Port, give him as much room as they possibly can to work with. Inside of 5 minutes left in this first half, they do not want to turn the ball back to John Port at midfield. Instead, they want to try to back him up as far as they can.
Rabaska to kick it away. Aoki Kuramoto is back deep for Albright, standing at his own 20-yard line. He's averaging 7 yards a punt return. Rabaska under heavy pressure gets that ball away. He had a tough time with the snap, and it's going to be a great roll inside the 15 down to the 12-yard line. A 40-yard kick. We'll take a break with 4:14 to play in the first half. Albright gets it back when we return, trailing 10-7. 4 minutes to play in the first half. Albright quickly running a play on first down, picking up 9 yards for Vinnie Andrews to the 21. 2nd down and 1 for the Lions, who are down by 3 with 3 minutes and 45 seconds to play in the first half.
And all 3 timeouts in their pocket right now for the Lions. Got to start thinking about that right now.
Andrews has a first down. The clock will stop to reset the chains at the 26-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Lions.
Every time you get the first down, it slows things down at least until they move the chains. But here comes Andrews. Plenty of room to run. Great blocking by the left side of the offensive line. Matt Holscher, the left tackle, Steve Lecoq, the left guard, clearing the way for Schiller to get the first down and more.
Port to throw on first down. Again, has a lot of time. Dumps it off short to AC. AC has another first down across the 35 to the 37-yard line. He'll pick up 11 more. Clock again halted momentarily with 3:20 left in the half.
Great job by Port to seal to kind of make the defense commit. He makes the defensive back, Derek Gregory, come up right there with the pump fake. He's thinking he's going to run. Now he just waits for him to come up and dumps it off to AC instead. AC was covered by Gregory until Port started to run. Then he came up to make the tackle, and Port just threw it over his shoulder.
And speaking of over the shoulder, yet again, a misfire on a shotgun snap. And E.J. Sandusky is not going to like that in the Albright sideline. We met with him on Thursday, and it's one of the things we brought up. And I said, how many a game is too many? And he said 1.
A former center at Penn State University. He is very, it's kind of a nail in his back every time he sees that, and it can't come the worst time.
Yep.
You get things moving your way, you get the first downs moving across the 35-yard line, and quickly you go back 20 yards.
A loss of 17 on the play. Allen well covered in the left flat by Tom Sharples, and just like that, it's 3rd down and 17 for the Lions, and now you start worrying about giving the ball back to FDU Florham with good field position and 3 timeouts remaining.
There you see Sandusky, and I guarantee you right now he wishes he had an antacid right now. He could pop, because he is just so frustrated by that bad snap and his team having to go backward out of it. We'll see if John Port can pull a rabbit out of his hat right now.
Port stepping up, throwing short, complete to Andrews, loses the football, and it's going to be called incomplete. He had it momentarily, cannot hang on, and hard-hitting defense for FDU Florham here in the first half, and the Lions will have to punt it away.
And the Devils have done that. Even in situations where the Lions look like they might have a catch, the defense is knocking it loose, and there comes the big stick, knocking the football away. I believe it was Barker, the middle linebacker, who made the stick and knocking it away from Andrews. And fortunately for the Lions, it becomes an incomplete pass. But now nothing is short. The punting game has been an adventure as well for the Lions.
They've had 3 blocks. This is Kyle Brudvig in to kick it away. Smija back deep, calling for a fair catch, and he'll make it at his own 47-yard line. Call it the 46, just a 26-yard punt. And with 3 timeouts and 2:19 left in the half, FDU Florham in good shape right now.
And that is the key ingredient in all this. They've got a 3-point lead. And with plenty of time to work with, especially with a short field to work with, starting from the Albright 46-yard line and 3 timeouts remaining as well. Some nervous moments right now on the sidelines for the coaching staff of Albright. Trailing by 3 at halftime, or going in close to halftime, and making sure right now the defense has to come up big for the Lions to make sure it's no worse than 3.
Oh, by the way, it's raining hard again at Shirk Stadium.
To add a little bit more to the mix.
Deke showing blitz. Here he comes on first down. It is a running play with Adam LaValle. First time we've seen the freshman from Newman, Georgia, out of Sparta High School in New Jersey. He'll pick up a couple to the 44-yard line.
And a fresh face in there at the defensive line making a tackle. Ty Lease, number 56, freshman out of Manheim Central High School, coming up and getting in on the play, getting his first real action here, and he comes up with the tackle for the Lions. There's Ty Lease, outstanding 2-way lineman at Manheim Central High School, and getting some playing time at the defensive tackle spot.
Play clock is already down to 8 for Huff. He is not going to go out of the shotgun on 2nd down and 8. They did not use a timeout either. Keep it on the ground again. It is LaValle on the carry, and he stays inbounds at the 42-yard line. It's 3rd down and 6.
John Pond, the linebacker, number 7, coming up to make the hit, and it appeared as if he got the hit before he went out of bounds.
Also appears that FDU Florham is very content right now with a 3-point lead going into the locker room at halftime.
Can you blame them? 1-5 and leading one of the best teams in the conference by 3 points at this point in time. I think they're looking at it from the standpoint of let's not make a mistake and let's not give the ball back to Albright. And if we go into the locker room at 10-7, we'll be perfectly contented with that. We don't want to make a mistake and give John Port another opportunity.
A passing attack that gets nearly 300 yards a game has been held in check here in the first half, plus 2 interceptions to boot. Huff on the scramble, and Huff will be tackled by Minotti. Finished off after Sean Andrew got to him first. It'll be 4th down, and let's see if Albright maybe takes a timeout here with 41 seconds left, and the Lions will do just that.
They did, and Huff actually tried to stay in bounds. He could have gotten out of bounds if he wanted to, but as we said, the Devils at this point in time are in a state of contentment with that 3-point lead on the scoreboard in their closing moments of the second half, and Rich Moscow wanting to and hoping that he can figure out a way to get the clock to run out and not give Albright another opportunity. But the Lions are going to have to kind of force his hand a little bit right now by calling a timeout and making them make a decision on 4th down and about 6.
Here is the second trivia question for you this afternoon on homecoming. What Albright-related gentleman was a drummer boy during the Revolutionary War?
No, I was not there for that.
I wasn't either.
It's bad enough you try to put me 150. Now let's not get over. Let's not get into the 225 range.
So if you
I may look that old.
You come up with this one. All right, now punt formation. Kuramoto is back deep for Albright. And another timeout is called, this one by FDU Florham with 41.4 seconds left in the half. Devils ahead 10-7, so give you a little time to think about that trivia answer. The Revolutionary War, huh? The answer is an Albright, and his first name, Jacob.
It's right there. The answer's right in front of me, literally. It's right in the question. Jacob Albright was the guy who was the drummer boy. Revolutionary War.
Hardy souls out here on another chilly, damp afternoon at Shirk Stadium. Not the monsoon we had here 2 weeks ago for our telecast against the Widener Pioneers, but not a fun day nonetheless.
Hot drinks are the leading seller at the concession stand right now.
Coming up at halftime, we are going to have a special feature for you with Albright's president, Dr. Lex McMillan. We'll have highlights and stats as well from Shirk Stadium. 41.4 seconds left in the half. Rabaska back in punt formation. Let's see if the Lions come after it. They have 9 men up. Rabaska with a short kick, angling it toward the right sideline. And this one is going to roll out of bounds inside the 20-yard line. It'll be put down at the 18 with 34 seconds left in the half. And we'd also like to welcome those of you listening online to our streaming audio of today's game at albright.edu or at the TV 51 Sports website at WTVE.com.
If we could put our microphone in the locker room at halftime, it might be screaming.
Yeah, I think it will be. And not something we necessarily want to air. Let's see what the Lions do here with 34 seconds left in the half. Going to keep it on the ground with Andrews. Andrews across the 20 to the 23. Pickup of, call it 6 to the 24. Second down and 4. That'll probably be the final play of the first half.
They may call one timeout here and go for and have one last play left to go. They may, but it looks like they're just going to lick their wounds and take their lumps from the first half and try to start it all over again in the second half.
So Albright struggling through another tough first half, but very much striking distance against the 1-5 Devils. 10-7 at the break here at Shirk Stadium. That wraps up the first half of this matchup between Albright and FDU Florham right here at the brand new Shirk Stadium in Reading.
We invite you to stay tuned to watch the TV 51 Sports halftime show featuring